I'm on. Hi everyone, happy Monday to you and happy first day of the sprint. If you're a sprint member, you know what this means. Sprinting is what we do once a month, and this is the day that we started. You can jump in right now if you want to. It's a free program that we do to get ourselves de-inflamed, if you will. And I don't know about you, but I sure need a break from all the carbs. This is a good plan for you to do that. And I'm going to show you how to create a salmon. I'm going to do a sautéed salmon with a Dijon mustard sauce that is completely sprint friendly. If you want to find out about the sprint, just go to savingdinner.com/sprint and you'll see it right there. We start with, of course, salmon. Now, salmon is high in omega-3 fatty acids, and omega-3 fatty acids, most of us are deficient in them. We need this for good circulation. It's good for our heart, it's good for our brains, it's good for the whole system. And omega-3 fatty acids, not only are they going to help you think better, but it's going to give you a much needed nutrient. And like I said, we're all deficient in. Wild salmon will do it, farmed salmon not as much. But wild salmon is going to be this beautiful color, and it will make it, it will be fantastic when you make it with the Dijon mustard sauce especially. It has a really good flavor. So what I do with this is when I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half, and I use a pair of scissors. I'm going to try not to touch it because I forgot to put my pan here. I forgot to put a cloth here. But you should cut it with a pair of scissors to get... Oh, well, this doesn't help. There's paper on the bottom. Don't cut the paper part. And the salmon's falling apart, too. Okay, I'm going to give you another tip because we just did this, and this is a don't do this tip. When you're doing a quick thaw, you can do hot water for everything, but not for salmon, because you see how this is kind of coming apart? It's because it's quasi-cooked. So don't do that. Make sure that you skip that part and just give it a cut. And the reason I cut it with scissors is because you've got the skin to deal with, all right? Okay. Can you hand me my hands are a mess. Can I use your cloth? Thank you. All right, anyway. So another thing that I do is I season my salmon before it goes into the pan. So as I am starting to get the salmon heated up, I use this multi-purpose seasoning. And I bet you have some kind of an herbal seasoning that's some kind of an herbal seasoning blend in your pantry. This one that I'm using is called citrus, salt, and pepper, and it comes from our friends at Ava Jane's Kitchen. And if you go to the savingdinner.com /Leanne recommends, you can see they have avocado oils and all kinds of sea salts and all kinds of fantastic things. And we love their company, and this is one of their seasoned blends that they put out, and they do a really good job with it. All right, so you know that if you're going to be sauteing anything, you need to do it in a hot pan, and you never take your cold, salmon, steak, or chicken or anything like that. You bring it to room temperature first, and you put it in a little bit of fat. You can use avocado oil, you can use ghee, that's what I'm going to be using, and you want it to get hot first. What?
Spatula.
Okay. There's all this. When he starts looking around, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, what? There's like this whole thing going on. Go ahead, love. So ghee, I really like ghee. This is the reason I like ghee. First of all, it's like a clarified butter. It's butter, obviously, and it has most of the butter solids removed. The butter solids being the lactose and some of the casein, but it still has a little bit of casein in it. So that's going to help you a lot with the way you can tolerate it. Even if you're dairy sensitive, most people who can handle for sure the clarified butter. So that keeps it from burning. It has a 450 degree smoke point. That means it takes a lot of heat before it burns. It's perfect for sauteing vegetables, for sauteing meats, chicken, fish, whatever. It's like this is my favorite. It's my go-to, and it adds another layer of flavor. Here's the thing, and you hear me say this all the time, another layer of flair, more contrast, this, that, and the other thing. The point is that when you're making a sauce, you want as much flavor to go in there as possible. That's why we work with the things that we have to do it. That's why we use wire whisks. That's why we add different flavor components. It makes all the difference in the world, and it takes your cooking up several notches. Seriously. All right, so we have a nice hot pan, and like I said, I'm going to grab this too, so you know I'm going to need that. I'm going to season this fish. And this, again, is the citrus. It's the citrus, salt, and pepper. And it's really nice. They have, I shouldn't have done that. Oh boy, that was crazy. They use lemon and orange and all kinds of stuff in there. And they're good salt. They're nice sea salt that they have that has no plastic in it, which is really unusual. Now, take this. God, why did I do that? Excuse me. I never, ever smell pepper. Okay, much better. Now you take this and put it in your pan. Sorry. Big mistake. All right, now, while this is cooking, it's nice and hot. It's cooking skin side down first, and then I'll turn it. I will take the skin off of it, and I'll show you how to do that. And also all that gray, icky stuff that I don't like. It has a particular name. It slipped my mind for a minute what it is. It's not fat, it's something else. It's some kind of weirdness that the fish makes. I'm gonna take that off, and then I'm gonna put a little bit more seasoning on it. I find that when you season it, when you're cooking it, it just, again, adds to the flavor of the actual fish itself. I like that. So I'm also gonna be putting some garlic into the mix, and I'm using 2 nice sized cloves of garlic, and I'm using my garlic rocker to do it. There we go. See that? And again, we're just going to set that aside. I'm also going to be using the creamy portion of it because I want to keep it dairy free. Sprint, you know. I'm going to be using a little bit of coconut milk. Probably this is a 1/4 of a can of coconut milk. Coconut milk makes things creamy. Coconut milk also has a very distinct flavor, hence the garlic and the Dijon mustard. That's going to help to just keep it creamy without having the coconut flare out everywhere. Does that make sense? So I also have salt and pepper because once the sauce is made, I'm going to taste it and make sure that it has enough of what it needs. Now, if Marla were here for dinner, I'd be flipping her fish right now and then putting it on a plate. She pretty much likes everything medium rare, or rare, you know. I'm going to show you another thing. This is something that I've been using lately, and I really like it. It's called Better Than Bouillon. Better Than Bouillon. And it's basically a condensed flavor component that you can add to your sauces to add a little bit of something. If it's missing something and you just say, I don't know what it's missing, put a little bit of that in, and it'll bump right back up. Question?
Probably referring to the coconut milk. Can you store the can in the fridge after opening?
No, what I do is I put it into I just kept, this is from this morning. I used coconut milk to make my collagen shot, and this is just a little bit of leftover. But I always store it in a container of sorts after I'm done with it. Okay. Woo. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, now take a spoon and then just get rid of that skin. You can give it to your dog if you want, your cat. There are people who like to eat it. Personally, I like the fat in the in the fish itself, but I don't want to be eating the skin. Some people like it, whatever. You just, you know, do what works for you. For my family, we're just not about that. So you see, I'm just taking this off, pulling it out. There it is. Ta-da! Now, what I'm showing you here are some basic skillet skills. Skillet skills. Say that past 3 times. But all of this can be used at any point, at any time, for any kind of anything. If you do meat, if you do chicken, if you do fish, you can always make a pan sauce. You just start with your meat or whatever in the pan, your protein in the pan first, and you build from there. So it's a really good skill to have because it's going to help you out later on. Okay? Yes?
Is the skin not healthy?
The skin is healthy, but it's just too, you know, it's sort of like, I'll give you an example. Marla, when she makes her bone broth, she drinks it with the fat on it because she likes it. I always skim the fat off the top of my bone broth because it gags me. That's the same thing with the skin. It's just a personal preference. So if you like the skin, go ahead and eat it. Yeah, it's fine. It's wild fish, wild skin, you know, that's where a lot of the omega fat is. But it's also within the fish itself. Any other questions? Okay. So I need to put some more seasoning on this, and I'm going to give it a toss. What happened here? Okay, a little bit more and a little bit more. I have this blackened fish seasoning that I'm out of. Ava James, if you're listening, I'm out of the blackened fish one that I use a lot. Marla and Robert love it. And then I use a different, you know, whatever sauce I'm doing. But this is part of adding. This is the first layer of flavor for the fish, and it makes it just so much better than just some plain fish. Okay, I'm going to give this a turn. There we go. Pretty much done with that. I think I'm going to pull that already because it looks to me like it's done. Yeah, pretty much done. And you don't want to overcook salmon, but at the same time, you know, unless you're into pretty much sushi type things, you're going to want to, you know, take it off. If you want to do it a couple of minutes each side, and again, that really depends on, there it is, nothing goes to waste around here. I've got about, how much is this, do you think? I'm going to say that's about a half a cup of bone broth. I told you I use bone broth all the time. Oh my goodness. Now what the bone broth has just done for us is it's removed all the fond from the bottom of the pan. Otherwise it would just keep cooking, and as you saw, it just kind of fluffed up a little bit, which is great. And I'll turn it back up. Now, what a lot of people will do, and I'm not one of them, but you might want to do this, especially if you've got picky eaters at home, is go through and skim off all the chunks that are in here. I don't care. There's a little bit of skin in here. There's a little bit of fish in here. It doesn't bother me. But some people, that's like a big, like, what the heck is this? I'm not going to eat this. It has floating chunks in it. You know your family. You know what you need to do. But right here at this point, we're kind of just letting this stuff go a little bit. And right now, we want to be adding the garlic. And you know what I've said about the garlic 100 times. You don't want it browned, but you want it cooked. But garlic always adds just a little bit of dimension, makes it very, very tasty. There we go. It's like having little pieces of rice in here. Okay, and to that, we're going to add mustard. we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of mustard, because mustard is the main thing. Now, I use this, you can use Grey Poupon. Excuse me, do you have any Grey Poupon? Am I dating myself? Anybody remember this one? Yes. Tell me if you remember it. But Grey Poupon is good. You can use any other kind of Dijon mustard. And if, as a matter of fact, there's a really good one, and I think Trader Joe's has it, and it's green peppercorn Dijon. It's really nice. And then I'm going to add the remainder of this can. There we go. And look, away we go. We've got nice pan sauce going here. We're going to give it another minute. What we want everything to incorporate, right? That's what we're looking for, is incorporation. Incorporation means that the flavor has all melded together. And of course, things when they, sit a little bit longer, taste a little bit better. So we'll get a spoon out and we'll see how this is tasting. It's pretty good. I don't know that I want to do anything else to it. But if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of this. I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna show you. I don't need to on this. I think it tastes pretty good just the way it is. But here you go. I used my little tiny guy, and I put in probably about, it's probably just a little less than a teaspoon. And using this, I'm gonna go in there and give it what for. White wine would be a good addition. Can you get me some white wine, look? It's right over there on the wine thing. Yeah. White wine is a good addition, which I just now thought of. But when you're cooking, just start pulling things out. You could even use a little bit of apple cider vinegar, like a splash. You could even use brandy if you wanted to. And this is like the perfect amount of white wine. And again, all the alcohol cooks off, but you're adding another layer of flavor. It just makes it that much better. Now I'm going to cross-contaminate. It's just Mark and I, so that's fine. If I had company, if Marla and Robert were here, I would not do it like this. Oh, hey, what do you know? So that's it. That is exactly how you do a pan sauce. It's really simple. It's really easy. It makes you feel like a gourmet chef, and it takes your cooking up another notch. Now, if you would like to share this with all of your friends and show them how to do a skillet pan sauce, I'd love it. This is how we bring people into our community. And listen, we might be isolated right now and staying at home all the time, but we don't have to be disconnected from one another. We can still be connected. And speaking of which, if you would like to support Saving Dinner, you can become a subscriber and a member of our menu planning solution called Dinner Answers. And as a matter of fact, I have all these new members that have just come in the last day. We've got Teresa and Terry, Marcy, Pam, Denise, Jennifer, Delia, gosh, I'm not going to say your name right, so sorry. India, that's a pretty name, India. Amy, Gina, Marty, Yvonne, Renata, Martha, Tara, Kathy, Christine, and to them I would like to give a big thank you. They're supporting us $7 a month, and in return we're supporting them by providing them with menus, recipes, and shopping lists every single week in the way that they eat. So I just want to invite you to also come on board, savingdinner.com. Your support is greatly appreciated, and guess what else? We want to support you because we know you've got to get dinner on the table every single night, and we're there to help you do it, however it is that you eat. Thank you for joining me today. Yes, we have a question.
How do you keep the fish warm?
Oh, well, so at this point, you go right back to square one, and you stick it in the pan. You give it a heat, you turn it over, and then you serve. Let it just bubble up and serve it. It takes a minute. Now, I took a little bit longer, but honestly, the whole process takes maybe 5 to 7 minutes from the time that you start cooking the fish, and if you've got all your ingredients sitting right here, to making your sauce, and then you're going to want to serve it right away. That's how easy it is. So I appreciate you guys, and I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being a supporter of Saving Dinner, and it's my honor and privilege to support you right back. Peace out. I'll see you tomorrow at 1. Bye.